The thing NEVCA is committed to is helping entrepreneurs get there faster, find the capital they need, find the right capital that they need.
Because once you get here, you realize that it's probably one of the best places to build a startup that you could find.
Boston has that sort of perfect balance of supply and demand where you still can start a company.
And it's everything that you want from an investor perspective. You've got great talent, you've got lots of ideas.
Well, I think there's a recommitment here in Boston to solving difficult problems again.
Almost from the telephone forward, every major telecommunications and computing invention has been made in the Northeast.
It's the best robotics cluster anywhere in the country.
It is not as big and intimidating as New York, but it's much more interesting than Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley, great companies, but it's not a great place to live, and Boston is a real city.
This is a great place to start a company and to raise a family.
We'll never leave Boston, I can tell you that.
So a little known fact, venture capital actually started in Boston. And we remain one of the top venture capital markets in the world.
Pound for pound, Boston has more venture capital per startups than any other city in the world.
Well, what's amazing about the Boston ecosystem is the right size. It's not so big that you get lost, and yet not so small that it doesn't have critical mass and scale.
I think people here are drawn to more meaty problems and trying to have an imprint on the world, as opposed to flipping something very quickly and being famous.
Boston has a unique approach because you have 200 colleges and universities. And so I think as an entrepreneur, you can actually get realistically started much, much earlier.
This area is used to fighting back and staying in the game. And it has a lot of character, has a lot of soul.
You can do whatever you want here, and you could probably do it with less of a prima donna mindset than is currently happening in the Valley, where getting a VP of product is just mission impossible. And if you do get him, you're probably going to lose him after 12 months because he might move on to the next gig.
There is much more of a thriving ecosystem here. I think things, organizations like Boston, New England Venture Capital Association, there's just been a huge effort to bring entrepreneurs, bring investors, bring successful founders, bring strategics to the table, and sort of create goodwill, good momentum, good vibe as a place where Boston to be for startups and for where to consider to grow your company.
It's a small town. Everyone knows everyone. The startup community is pretty close-knit.
There's sort of a collaborative nature to everybody that I find that you can much more easily approach individuals and ask for things.
Yeah, I mean, we all know each other. It's a very small world. And lots of collaboration and stealing of people from one place to another, all friendly.
It's been easy. Most startups say that building a team is hard in Boston because of so much competition. But I think that if you have a big vision and you're working on something that's really hard and you build a very quirky and unique brand and culture and you treat people well, I think a lot of people in Boston want to come and work for companies like that.
Hiring is easier. If you're hiring engineers, it's way easier in Boston.
People are loyal in Boston. They put their head down, they muscle through, and they work hard over a long period of time. And it's just really well aligned with the kind of company that we'd like to build.
Yeah, we actually didn't even leave Boston to raise funding.
I think there's been a real resurgence in Boston. I mean, Kendall Square is really hot right now.
Boston is far more open than it ever used to be. There used to be a culture of old boys network, perhaps, and that's completely gone.